Hello friends, welcome to my new YouTube channel called Open University. Myself Dibyalochan Sahu, and I am here to discuss analog electronics. This subject will be helpful for GATE exam and engineering service exam. So let's start the subject with some few definitions. So first, let's talk about what is an electronic circuit. So let's know what is an electronic circuit. Let's talk about what is an electronics circuit. What is an electronic circuit? The definition of electronic circuit is a circuit which consists of at least one electronics device. Is a circuit which consists of at least one electronics device like a diode or a MOSFET or a BJT or a op-amp, etc. It can be any electronics device as the major element is said to be an electronic circuit. So a circuit which consists of at least one electronics device as the major element is said to be the electronic circuit. So that means that device must be the main element in the circuit. So let's take the definition of electronic circuit. Let's take the definition. A circuit which consists of at least one electronics device in bracket like diode, it can be a BJT or it can be a MOSFET, etc. as the major element, is said to be an electronic circuit. So that electronics device must be the main or the major element. For example, in rectifier is an example of electronic circuit. So the examples of electronic circuits are like rectifier. It can be a rectifier or it can be an amplifier. Etc. In rectifier circuit, you will find diode, and the diode is the major element. The operation of the rectifier depends upon the functionality of the diode. Similarly, in the case of amplifier, for example, in case of BJT amplifier, that BJT is the major element. Similarly, in case of MOSFET amplifier, the MOSFET is the major element. And in case of operational amplifier, the op-amp is the major element. Or you can find the application of operational amplifier where the op-amp is the major element. So these are the examples of electronics circuit. Let's next talk about the classification of electronic circuit. So let's talk about classification of electronic circuit. Classification of electronic circuit. Electronics circuit. Electronic circuit is of three types. One is analog electronic circuit, second one is digital electronic circuit, and third one is mixed signal electronic circuit. So first talk about what is an analog electronic circuit. What is an analog electronics? What is an analog electronics circuit? A circuit which can process analog signals. A circuit which can perform processing of analog signals is said to be an analog electronic circuit. Or a circuit whose input is analog and output is also analog is said to be an analog electronic circuit. So take the definition of analog electronic circuit. A circuit which can perform processing of analog signals, or a circuit whose input is analog, signal and output also analog signal, and output is also analog signal is said to be analog electronic circuit. For example, amplifier is an example of analog electronic circuit. Examples of analog electronic circuit is amplifier. In amplifier, the input is a weak analog signal and the output is an amplified analog signal. So the examples of analog electronic circuit is an amplifier whose input is an weak analog signal and the output of the amplifier is a amplified analog signal. So this is the example of analog electronic circuit. Next, take the definition of what is a digital electronic circuit. Take the definition of digital electronic circuit. Digital electronic circuit. The definition of digital electronic circuit is a circuit which can perform processing of digital signals, or a circuit whose input is a digital signal and output also a digital signal. Digital signals means the input is in the form of 0 and 1 and also the output is in the form of 0 and 1. So the definition of digital electronic circuit is a circuit which can perform processing of digital signals. The definition of digital electronic circuit is a circuit which can perform processing of digital signals is said to be digital electronic circuit. So a circuit which can perform processing of digital signals which are in the form of 0 and 1, or I can say a circuit whose input is digital and output also digital signal. So this is the definition of digital electronic circuit. Next, take the definition of another classification of electronic circuit is mixed signal electronic circuit. mixed signal electronic circuit. This is the third definition. It is called mixed signal. Mixed signal. So what is a mixed signal electronic circuit? A circuit whose input is analog and output is digital, or a circuit whose input is digital and output is analog is said to be mixed signal electronic circuit. You know, ADC circuit and DAC circuit, in which in ADC circuit input is analog and output is digital, and in case of DAC circuit the input is digital and output is analog. So the definition of mixed signal electronic circuit is a circuit whose input is analog and output is digital and output is digital, and vice versa. Means if input is digital, output should be analog. Such circuits are said to be mixed signal electronic circuit. And you know, most of the electronic circuits are either analog electronic circuit or it can be a digital electronic circuit. Very rare circuits are mixed signal electronic circuit. Okay, so most of the electronic circuits are either analog or digital electronic circuit. So next talk about what is the advantage of digital electronic circuits and what is the advantage of analog electronic circuit. So take the definitions, like take the heading, what is the advantage of digital electronic circuit? What is the advantage of digital electronic circuit? What is the advantages of digital circuits? Advantages of digital circuits. You know, the first advantage of digital circuits is it is easy to design. Okay, a digital circuit is very easy to design. So if you want to design an digital circuits, the procedure is first based on the operation of the digital circuit, first draw the truth table. Okay, draw the truth table by taking the inputs and output. Based on this truth table, you can obtain the logical Boolean algebra expression, and based on the Boolean algebra expression, you can design the circuit by using logic gates. So these are the steps you need to follow. First, you need to see the input output operation, and based on the input output operation you can obtain the truth table, and based on the truth table you can obtain the Boolean algebraic expression, and based on the Boolean algebraic expression you can obtain the circuit by using, you can implement the circuit by using Boolean by using logic gates. So these are the steps you need to follow to design any digital circuits. So the first advantage of digital circuit is it is easy to design. Okay, so the first advantage is it is easy to design. It is easy to design. The second advantage is in digital circuit, in digital operation, noise is less. Okay, in digital communication, where you will find channel noise, and that channel noise can be overcome in digital communication. Okay, so noise is less in digital. Okay, noise is less. Okay, noise is less. And another advantage of digital circuit is it can be programmed. Okay, if you can program a digital circuit, the advantage will be human involvement can be overcome. So the circuit will perform its operation on its own. Human involvement will not be required. So the third advantage is it can be programmed. Okay, it can be, a digital circuit can be programmed, due to which, okay, it can be programmed, due to which human involvement will be eliminated. So these are the advantages of digital circuits. Next, take the definition. Next, take the advantages of analog circuits. What are the advantages of analog circuits? Advantages of analog circuits. Okay. Advantages of analog circuit. Okay. The first advantage of analog circuit is most of the real-time signals are analog, so they can be processed directly in analog circuits. Okay, so in real time the signal which is processed in a circuit is analog, so directly you can process that signal through the analog circuits. So due to which if you want to perform digital processing of that signal, you need to convert analog to digital first. Okay, then you will process, then the digital circuit will process that signal, and again the output of the digital circuit will be again digital. Again you need to convert from digital to analog. So A to D and D to A conversion is required in order to perform digital processing, due to which the complexity and accuracy will be lost. In digital processing, you know, while you convert from analog to digital and digital to analog, in that conversion some quantization error will be there. Okay, due to which the accuracy, that signal, the accuracy will be lost. Whatever signal you will receive will not be same as the original signal. So this is the disadvantage of digital processing. So in what is the advantage of analog circuit? Advantage is you can directly process the real-time signal. So the advantage of analog circuit is most of the real-time signals, most of the real-time signals are analog in nature, Okay, so they can be processed in analog circuit. This is the advantage. Most of the real-time signals are analog in nature, so they can be directly processed in analog circuits. But digital processing requires A to D and D to A conversion. Due to which accuracy and complexity will be increased. In this, if you want to convert A to D and D to A, the complexity will increase as well as accuracy will decrease, because some quantization error will be there. So accuracy will decrease and complexity will increase. Okay, in this conversion, signal accuracy will decrease. And complexity increase. This is the first advantage of analog circuit. The first advantage, most of the real-time signals are analog, so they can be directly processed in analog circuits. But if you want to process through digital circuit, you need to convert A to D first and then D to A first and then D to A, and due to which signal accuracy will lost as well as complexity will increase. Okay, in this conversion process, signal accuracy will lost due to quantization error and complexity will increase due to conversion of A to D and D to A. Another advantage of analog circuit is analog circuit can perform processing of signals having greater power level also, which digital circuit cannot process very high power signals. So the second advantage of analog circuit is it can process signals having greater power level, which a digital circuit cannot, which a digital circuit cannot process. So this is the advantage of digital circuit and analog circuits. Okay. Next, take the heading of regulated power supply. Regulated power supply. A regulated power supply. What is a regulated power supply? So what is a regulated power supply? Okay. Regulated power supply. Okay, regulated power supply. A regulated power supply is an electronic circuit or electronic. It is a system which converts AC power into DC power. Okay, it is an electronic circuit or system which converts AC power into DC power. Why you need to convert AC power into DC power? Because most of the electronic circuit and appliances, they operate on DC power. Okay, so we have AC power in the circuit. We will be available. AC power will be available. Okay, but you need DC power to operate any electronic circuit or any electronics appliances. So most of the electronics appliances operate on DC power. So we have AC power. So in order to convert AC to DC, okay, this regulated power supply will help. Okay, this regulated power supply will convert AC power into DC power. So the definition of regulated power supply is, it is a system. Okay, a regulated power supply, it is an electronics system. So power supply is an electronics system which converts AC power into DC power. Okay, why you need to convert AC to DC? Because most of the electronic circuit operate on DC power. So you need to convert AC power into DC power, because we have AC power in our home. So you need to convert AC to DC. This regulated power supply will be useful. So what is there in this regulated power supply? There are 3 blocks in a regulated power supply. Okay, there are 3 blocks in a regulated power supply. It consists of three blocks. The first one is it consists of 3 blocks. Okay, the first one is a rectifier. Okay, a rectifier, and the second one is a filter. Okay, second one is a filter, and the third one is a voltage regulator. Okay, voltage regulator. Okay, the input to the rectifier is a pure AC signal. Okay, this is the regulated power supply, and the output of the rectifier is a pulsating DC. Pulsating DC means it is combination of AC plus DC. this AC is unwanted AC. Okay, this AC component is unwanted, and filter will remove this AC component. So the output of the filter is DC component, but it is not a stable DC, it is a fluctuating DC. The output of the filter is fluctuating DC output. Okay, fluctuating DC or unstable DC. This DC is not stable, it is an unstable DC output. And the output of the voltage regulator is called as stable DC or regulated DC. Regulated or fixed DC. Regulated DC or stable DC. So this is total a regulated power supply. These are the blocks present in a regulated power supply. The input will be AC. Okay. Rectifier will convert this AC signal into pulsating DC, means combination of AC and DC. This AC is not required, this is unwanted. So this AC component, unwanted AC component will be removed by the filter. Filter will remove this AC component. In the output of the filter only DC, but the DC is not stable, that is unstable. Okay, in order to convert this unstable DC to stable DC, you need to use a voltage regulator. The voltage regulator output will be a fixed DC. So these are the blocks. This is how AC signal is converted into DC signal. Okay, these are the blocks present in a regulated power supply. Next, talk about what are the properties of a pure AC signals. Okay. And what are the properties of a pulsating DC signal? Properties of a pure AC and pulsating DC. What are the properties of a pure AC signal? Okay, pure AC means sinusoidal signal. Okay, sine and cosine signals are called as pure AC signals. So take the heading. Properties of pure AC signal. Okay, pure AC we represent with sinusoidal signal like this. Okay, some B of t. Okay, sinusoidal and cosine signals are called, sine and cosine are called pure AC signal. So what are the properties of this pure AC signals? Okay, the first property is it is bidirectional, means you will find the variation in both positive direction and negative direction. So the first property is it is a bidirectional signal. So the first property is it is bidirectional, means variation in both positive direction and bidirectional and negative direction. So a pure AC signal is a bidirectional signal. It is a bidirectional signal. It is bidirectional. And the second property is it will have periodic variation. Such signals are periodically vary with time. Okay. So the second property is it will have periodic variation. It will have periodic variation, means such signals will periodically vary with time. It will have periodic variation. And the second property is the average value of such signal is 0. So the third property is it will have 0 average value. 0 average value means DC value, means the DC component is 0, means in such signals there is no DC, only AC. So 0 average value. And the last one is it will have single frequencies. In such sinusoidal signals will have only single frequency. It will have single frequency. You will find only one frequency, single frequency. So these are the properties of a pure AC signal. If you see other AC signals like a triangular wave, okay, like a square wave. Okay, in such signals, such signals are also AC signals, and the first three properties are present in these AC signals also, but the last property are not present in these signals. So these two signals are bidirectional, and also they are periodically vary with time, and also their average value is 0. But the last property, that is single frequency, which is present in these signals only, but in these signals there will be harmonics present in the signal, multiple harmonic components also present. So these are AC signals, but this is only pure AC signals. So this is the example of a pure AC signal. But these signals, only except these three property, except this last property, all the three properties are also present in this square wave and triangular waves. So this is the example of a pure AC, and these are the properties of a pure AC signal. Next, talk about the properties of a pure, not pure, it is a pulsating DC. Properties of a pulsating DC. Okay, what is a pulsating DC? What is a pulsating DC? How a pulsating DC looks like? How a pulsating DC looks like? Okay. A pulsating DC will look like this. It can be like this, okay, or it can be like this, okay. What are the properties of a pulsating DC? The first property is it is unidirectional, means variation in only one direction, means it can be varied either in positive direction, means above time axis, okay, or in negative direction, means variation can be either in positive direction or in negative direction. So it will have, it is a unidirectional signal. First property is it is unidirectional. It is unidirectional. It is unidirectional. And the second property is it will have periodic variation. Pulsating DC will also have periodically varying with time. So the second property is it will have periodic variation. It will have periodic variation. And the third property is non-zero average value. For such signals, if we will calculate the average value will not be 0, or DC value is not 0. So the third property is non-zero average or DC value. Average or DC value. Okay. And the fourth property is it will have harmonics or harmonic components. Multiple frequencies will be present in such signals. It will have harmonic. It will have harmonic components. It will have harmonic components. Okay. Okay, pulsating DC is will have periodic variation, and non-zero value, average non-zero value, means these signals which are pulsating DC, whose average value is non-zero, means presence of DC component is there in such signals, and also periodically vary. So means also AC components will be present. So pulsating DC is combination of both AC and DC. So such signals, since they have periodic variation, presence of AC component will be there, and since they have non-zero average value, also DC components will be there. So in pulsating DC is combination of AC and DC. Okay, it's combination of AC and DC. Take a note. Take a note. Take a note. Take a note. Periodic variation of a signal. Periodic variation of a signal represents presence of AC components and non-zero average value indicates presence of DC components. Okay, presence of DC components. Since your pulsating DC will have periodic variation and also non-zero average value, so pulsating DC is combination of AC and DC. Hence pulsating DC is combination of AC and DC. Is combination of AC components. Is combination of AC components and DC components. Means if a signal will have periodic variation, means it indicates the presence of AC components, and if the average value of a signal is 0, means no DC component, but if average value is non-zero, means there is presence of DC components. And since pulsating DC will have periodic variation and non-zero average value, pulsating DC will have both AC components and DC components. It is mixture of AC and DC. Let's talk about the first block of the regulated power supply, that is rectifier. What is a rectifier? What is a rectifier? What is a rectifier? You know, the input to the rectifier is a pure AC signal, and the output of the rectifier is pulsating DC, mixture of AC and DC. So the definition of rectifier is an electronic circuit which converts AC or pure AC to pulsating DC is said to be a rectifier. So the definition of rectifier is an electronic circuit which converts pure AC signal to pulsating DC is said to be a rectifier. So it is an electronic circuit which converts a pure AC signal to a pulsating DC, or a bidirectional signal to unidirectional signal, because pure AC is a bidirectional signal and pulsating DC is a unidirectional signal. I can say, or it converts a bidirectional signal, to unidirectional signal, So the job of the rectifier is to convert a bidirectional signal to unidirectional signal, or a circuit which converts a pure AC signal to pulsating DC is said to be a rectifier. Now, based on the rectifier output, based on the output voltage, rectifier is of two types. One is low voltage rectifier and another one is high voltage rectifier. Based on the output voltage, rectifier can be a low voltage rectifier or a high voltage rectifier. What is a low voltage rectifier? A low voltage rectifier will produce low DC output voltage. Okay, so first, what is a based on the output voltage, rectifier is of two types. Rectifier is of two types. One is low voltage rectifier and another one is high voltage rectifier. A low voltage rectifier, okay, the subheading, a low voltage rectifier will produce low DC output voltage. A low voltage rectifier will give low DC output voltage. Okay, it may be in some tens of volts, some 5 volt, 10 volt, some tens of volt. Okay, similarly, the second type of rectifier is a high voltage rectifier. What is a high voltage rectifier? A high voltage rectifier will give high DC output voltage, which is in the form of some hundreds of volt. So a high voltage rectifier will produce or will produce high DC output voltage. Maybe in some hundreds of volt. Okay, and most of the electronic circuit requires a low voltage rectifier. Okay, most of the electronic circuit requires a low voltage rectifier. Okay, this low voltage rectifier is formed using diode, and this high voltage rectifier is formed using ACR. Okay, a low voltage rectifier is formed using a diode. Okay, and a high voltage rectifier is formed using a ACR. If you want low DC output voltage, you need to use low voltage rectifier. If you want high DC output voltage, which will be in the form of some hundreds of volt, you need a high voltage rectifier. Again, this low voltage rectifier is of two types. One is half wave rectifier and another one is full wave rectifier. A low voltage rectifier can be classified as a half wave rectifier and a full wave rectifier. Low voltage rectifier. It is of two types. Okay, it is of two types. One is a half wave rectifier, half wave rectifier, half wave rectifier, and the second one is full wave rectifier, full wave rectifier. Again, this full wave rectifier is of two types. One is center tapped full wave rectifier, center tapped full wave rectifier. Another one is bridge full wave rectifier, bridge full wave rectifier. Okay, full wave rectifier is of two types. One is center tapped full wave rectifier, another one is bridge full wave rectifier. Okay. We will go one by one. A low voltage rectifier requires a step down transformer. Okay, you will find a step down transformer in a low voltage rectifier. Why you need to use a step down transformer is to reduce the strength of the AC voltage. Okay, in a step down transformer, okay, this is your transformer, this is the primary winding, okay, and this is the secondary winding. In secondary winding, number of turns will be less compared to primary side. This is primary and this is secondary. Number of turns in primary side is N1, okay, and number of turns in secondary side is N2, where N1 is greater than N2. Number of turns in primary side is greater compared to secondary side. So this is the example of a step down transformer, because every low voltage rectifier will use a step down transformer because to reduce the strength of the AC voltage. The primary side voltage is V1, okay, in transformer this is V1, this is I1, okay, this is N1, this is N2, and this is V2. The voltage across the secondary winding is V2 and this is I2. Okay, why I am using this step down transformer, why I will be using step down transformer is to reduce the strength of this voltage V1. Whatever voltage you will get across the secondary winding will be less compared to, will be smaller compared to the primary winding voltage, because according to transformer the relation is V1 by V2 equal to N1 by N2. This is the relation, V1 by V2 equal to N1 by N2. Okay, suppose the voltage across the primary side is 220 volt. V1 is some 220 volt RMS value. Okay, this is the RMS, this is a pure AC, okay, whose RMS value is 220 volt. And the number of turns N1, let N1 be some 10:1. The turns ratio is some 10:1. Some 10:1. Okay. So if you want to find out what is the voltage obtained at the secondary side is, what is the voltage at the primary side is, V1 is 220 volt. Okay, 220 volt. You need to obtain what is V2, V1 by V2 equal to N1 by N2. N1 is 10, N2 is 1. So 10 by 1. What is the V2 value? V2 is 220 by 10. So 22 volt. The voltage obtained at the secondary side is 22 volt and the voltage applied at the primary side is 220 volt. So the strength of the RMS value is reduced to 22 volt. Okay, so the use of the step down transformer is to reduce the strength of the AC signal. Okay, this is the purpose of using the step down transformer in low voltage rectifier. Okay, and also this step down transformer is used to protect diodes having smaller breakdown voltage. Okay, if you will not use a step down transformer, okay, what will happen if the breakdown voltage of the diode which will be used in the rectifier, if the voltage the breakdown voltage is smaller, then what will happen, the diode will be breakdown, because I am applying a high voltage but the breakdown voltage of the diode is small, due to which the diode will be damaged. Okay, so this is the second reason. The first reason is to reduce the strength of the AC voltage, okay, and second reason is to protect diodes having smaller breakdown voltage. These are the purpose of using step down transformer. Let's talk about the first low voltage rectifier, that is half wave rectifier. Half wave rectifier. Half wave rectifier. Half wave rectifier. Okay. Take the circuit for half wave rectifier. I will be using a step down transformer. Okay, this is primary side, this is secondary side, number of turns will be less. Okay, I am using a diode like this and load RL. Okay, the input is a pure AC signal, like a sinusoidal signal, pure AC, okay, which is a sinusoidal signal, maybe sine or cosine, whose RMS value is some 220 volt RMS value. Its frequency is 50 Hz. Okay, this signal where you will find in the socket, in socket you will find this pure AC signal whose RMS value is 220 volt and whose frequency is 50 Hz. So the input to the rectifier will be pure AC signal. Okay, the output across the secondary side is also a pure AC signal, but the RMS value will be reduced, some 220 to 20 or some low value. So this is also, let I am giving the name as VI. VI is a pure AC signal with smaller RMS value, or the frequency is same, okay, but the RMS value is only reduced. Okay, and this is the diode and this is load resistance and this is the output voltage. Okay, output voltage. This is the block diagram, this is the circuit of a half wave rectifier. Okay, what is VI? VI is a pure AC signal. I am mathematically representing VI as sinusoidal signals like Vm sine alpha. Okay, VI equal to Vm sine alpha. Hola. I am representing this VI like this. Okay, this is Vm, peak value Vm. This is time axis. This is your VI input signal, not time axis. Then now the argument is alpha. Okay, so instead of t I will write alpha, alpha, and this is pi, this is 2 pi, this is 3 pi. Okay, let's understand the operation of the half wave rectifier. During the positive half cycle, when alpha is in between 0 to pi, okay, when alpha is in between 0 to pi, in this interval VI is positive. Okay, this VI is positive. If VI is positive, diode will be forward biased. Okay, forward biased, so I can replace diode with, if it is an ideal diode, I will replace it with short circuit. Okay, if it is a practical diode, I will replace with a resistor. Okay, RF. Okay, if it is a ideal diode, I will directly short circuit it. and V naught will be exactly equal to Vi. V naught will be exactly equal to Vi. If it is a practical diode, okay, like this, I'm replacing during positive half cycle diode with RF. Diode when diode is in forward biased. Okay, in forward biased diode will be behaving like a resistor. Okay, now this resistance value is very small. Okay, it is in some ohms. So V naught will be approximately equal to Vi. Output voltage will be almost same as the input voltage. V naught will be almost same as Vi when alpha is in between 0 to pi. This is the output waveform and this is your input waveform. So when alpha is in between 0 to pi, when input voltage is positive, V naught will be Vi. When input is positive, Vi is positive. Okay, in this interval, Vi is positive, so V naught is same as Vi. Okay, if Vi is negative, when Vi will be negative, that is when alpha is in between, I can write when alpha is in between pi to 2 pi. Okay, in this interval pi to 2 pi, in this interval Vi is negative. This Vi is negative. Okay, Vi is negative. Okay, when Vi is negative, diode will be reverse biased and open circuit. If it is an ideal diode, it is open circuited. Okay, if it is a practical diode, then it will be replaced with a very high value of resistance, reverse resistance. Okay, if it is an ideal diode, I will open circuit it. If it is a practical diode, I will replace with very high value of resistance. Okay, which will be in some mega ohms. Reverse resistance, which will be in a mega ohm, and the output voltage will be almost zero. Okay, no current will be passed, very little amount of current will pass. Output voltage will V naught will be almost zero. Okay, in this interval when in pi to 2 pi, output voltage is zero. If it is ideal diode, I will open circuit it like this. Okay, I will open circuit it like this, and V naught will be 0, and again it will repeat like this. Okay, this is the output waveform of a half wave rectifier. Output waveform. Okay, since the output waveform will have periodic variation, so presence of AC component and average value is non-zero, so presence of DC component. So I can say the output of the rectifier is combination of AC and DC, because presence of AC component and DC component, so output is a pulsating DC. So this is the rectifier, half wave rectifier output. So this half wave rectifier is converting a pure AC signal into a pulsating DC signal. Why it is a pulsating DC? Because all the properties of pulsating DC, like it will have periodic variation, these signals also have periodic variation, it will have unidirectional. Okay, variation you will find in either positive direction or negative direction, since it is a unidirectional signal, and also average value is non-zero. Okay, since average value is non-zero and all the properties of a pulsating DC is present in these signals, so I can say the output is a pulsating DC, which is combination of AC component and DC component. So this is the operation of a half wave rectifier. Let's do some mathematical analysis of half wave rectifier. Okay. Let's do some mathematical analysis of this half wave rectifier. Some 16-17 points will be analyzed mathematically. Let's first talk about instantaneous output current. Okay, instantaneous output current. I'm denoting it with I. You see the half wave rectifier? It is something like this. Okay. This is RL. This current, this is your output current. I'm denoting with I. I am calling it as instantaneous output current. Okay, this output current I am calling as instantaneous output current, and this is your output voltage. Okay, this is your VI. Now, this is your input waveform, VI. Okay, this is your VI, this is VM, this is pi, this is 2 pi, this is 3 pi, this is your alpha. I want to get what is instantaneous output current, this output current. Now, when alpha is in between 0 to pi, when alpha is in between 0 to pi, alpha is in between 0 to pi. When alpha is in between 0 to pi, your input voltage is positive. Okay, if input voltage is positive, diode will be forward biased. If it is an ideal diode, it will be replaced with short circuit. If it is a practical diode, it will be replaced with some forward resistance RF. Okay, let's draw. When alpha is in between 0 to pi and diode is forward biased. Okay, when diode is forward biased, I will replace diode with a resistance called RF. Okay, and this is your RL, and this is your instantaneous output current. Okay, this is your output voltage, this is your input voltage VI. I want to get what is instantaneous output current. Okay, let's apply a KVL in this loop. Okay, if you apply, it will be minus VI plus I into RF plus I into RL equal to 0. If you apply KVL in this loop, it will be minus VI plus I into RF plus I into RL equal to 0. Okay, so VI will be equal to I into RF plus RL, or I equal to VI by RF plus RL. What is VI? When alpha is in between 0 to pi, VI is Vm sin alpha. My expression of VI is Vm sin alpha. What is VI? VI is Vm sin alpha. So if you substitute VI equal to Vm sin alpha divided by RF plus RL. Okay, let I am calling this part as Im. Okay, then it will become Im sin alpha. What is Im? Im is Vm by RF plus RL. Okay, Im is Vm by RF plus RL. So this is the instantaneous output current expression when alpha is in between 0 to pi. I is Im sin alpha. Okay. When alpha is in between pi to 2 pi, when alpha is in between pi to 2 pi, okay, when alpha is in between pi to 2 pi, when alpha is in between pi to 2 pi, Vi is negative. Okay, if Vi is negative, diode will be open circuited and V naught is 0. Okay, and you can draw the diagram like this. Okay, I am open circuit diode, this is RL, and this is your instantaneous output current. What is instantaneous output current now? It is 0, current is 0. So I am summarizing. So that instantaneous output current is I equal to Im sin alpha when alpha is in between 0 to pi. Okay, when alpha is in between 0 to pi, and 0 when alpha is in between pi to 2 pi. Okay, what is this Im? Im is Vm by Rf plus RL. Okay, this is the expression of instantaneous output current. Okay, in the next we'll be talking about all other topics like average value of the output current, RMS output current, other some 15-16 mathematical calculations we will be doing. Okay, so let's close the subject, and the next video we'll be talking about the other topic like what is the average output current of this half wave rectifier and RMS output current. We'll be discussing in the next lecture.